Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio. And with me today is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Cubariqueño Protocol Official Misconduct Toro. I think it's the only size, but I know that there are probably going to be more coming in future years, so I'll just call it the Toro now. 6" by 50 ring gauge, comes out of the La Zona factory in Nicaragua. Ecuadorian Habano for the wrapper, binder and filler, both listed as Nicaraguan. Blended by Hector Alfonso. Price point is $9.89, and the cigar was released in May of 2018. So with all that out of the way, Jiunn, what was your smoking experience like?
Um, First inch or so, it's one of the characteristics of Lazona is having that pepper blast and spice blast on some of their cigars. So this is you definitely get that with this cigar. It's really powerful. It's like a drying toasted black pepper. When I say toasted black pepper, I mean kind of gives it somewhat of a charred note to it on the pepper. So that's kind of what I mean when I say like a toasted black pepper. And then so after about an inch in, you get more hay, cedar starts coming through. Even retrohaling it within that first inch it's pretty intense. It really scorches your nostrils. But it wasn't just on the retro. It wasn't just pepper for pepper's sake. I also got like a nice roasted nuttiness to it, which was very welcome. And then, past that inch mark, it started that black pepper started backing off. I started getting this very easily identifiable, naturally sweet, creamy, roasty nuttiness coming through. Finished pretty long with a lingering toasted black pepper, cedar, and it did a really good job of layering the whole palate. Strength, just inch into the cigar, it got right up to medium full. And body stayed medium. And in terms of strength and body, that's kind of how it went throughout the entire cigar. So overall, medium plus strength, medium body. As I progressed into the second third and into the last third, it just showed that black pepper spice, that toasted black pepper spice, started just continuously backing off more and more. And that allowed for that, naturally sweet, creamy nuttiness to shine even that much more, along with on the background of hay and cedar. In terms of construction, I rated it to be good. I smoked 3 samples for this for review within the span of about, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks or so. Burn overall pretty good, but it does have its issue. Main gripe was that the ashes were incredibly floury, really flaky, fell on the floor quite often. Other than that, so that was my main gripe. And then I had one major touch up. Burn wasn't relatively, it wasn't too sharp, but it was good enough. Good part, they're really cool burning, inch average ash retention. In terms of draw, I rated it to be very good. All my samples are on the looser end of the spectrum, but nonetheless, it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, I would be in agreement with you. I mean, the cigar starts out with a bang with the intense charred wood and black pepper. Mine settled in around the half-inch in, a little bit of cream joined in, kind of really smoothed out the wood and the pepper. About an inch in, the char was really light on the wood. Black pepper was smooth, still had that kind of cream in the background. There was also a little bit of a sweetness to the profile. Retrohale was similar, had a little fuller black pepper though. About an inch and a half in, I got a little bit of a graham cracker note, kind of became present as the char, completely left the profile. Cream and pepper were pretty mellow in the background. Strength started out at that medium full level, but kind of settled in at medium. And then getting in the second third, the graham cracker note went away, replaced by kind of a floral note that went along with that wood and the cream. Black pepper also still in the background. About a half-inch in, the wood became a little bit fuller. Floral note, cream, black pepper in the background. An inch in, the char returned to the wood. Retrohales had that floral note up front, a little bit of creamy woodiness in the background. And as the second third was finishing up, the cream increased to become even with the charred wood. Floral note, pepper still faint in the background. Strength bumped up slightly above medium. And then the final third kind of gained a meatiness to the profile. Smoke became a lot fuller, chewy smoke, kind of created almost like a barbecue type flavor note to it. Quarter inch in, cream picked up a little bit, which kind of led into that creamy smoke part, paired really nicely with the meaty flavor profile. And then the char started increasing a little bit as the cigar was going along. But about an inch in, the char dropped back down, which was interesting. Red Trail was really just wood at that point, with a little bit of creaminess to it. And the cigar finished out at that slightly above medium mark. Now, I had a little difference with you in regards to burn. My burn was perfect. Ash held on for a really long time, razor sharp, about inch and a half increments is what I was getting from it. And in regards to the draw, it was a little bit looser than I prefer, but it didn't really cause any issues for me. Overall, what were your thoughts on this one?
Overall thoughts. I think this is another good release. It's not my favorite in the line. It's probably my least favorite. It's what I got out of this, and us being so familiar with smoking so many of the Cubariqueño line, right? It's not the same style as the other lines. So that's a good thing, right? Because one of the things I don't like is the company comes out with something and it's like, hey, what is it so different than the previous line you came out with?
Right.
I know there's only so many tobaccos you can use out there, but so initial intro, so it's really intense. Like but if you keep up with it, you'll settle into a profile that's just really nice, sweet, creamy, roasted nuttiness, haze cedar, which is a profile that anybody should enjoy, right? I think this is, for me, probably the strongest of the blends that they've come out with. But I don't really mind that. It wasn't so strong that it knocks you over. But and also, given the initial pepper blast, it really matches the strength well, I would say. Something that this should be something that's smoked after like a late night meal. You're kicking back, sort of a thing. Smoking it in the summertime. I smoked this when it was really fucking hot, and it was like it sucked, dude. But the flavors are good overall. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought the cigar was pretty complex. I mean, there are definitely a lot of transitions, and the flavor profile was changing up enough, and there was like layers of flavors and things like that. Something that kept my attention quite a bit. I definitely agree with you that strength and kind of pepper blast at the beginning, I can see how that kind of turns some people off, and they may just feel like they can't recover from that. But I think after you smoke enough cigars, you kind of get used to some cigars just start out with a big punch right at the beginning, and then you just got to give them a little bit of time and they settle in. So I'll be curious to see how this kind of goes along with some age and things like that. Like, does that initial blast mellow, or is that just something that's there for the longevity of the cigar? But this is not my favorite cigar in their portfolio, but I think it's still a pretty good cigar. And if you're okay with, if you could handle the strength up front, I think you'll be rewarded by sticking with cigar. It'll keep your attention, things like that. So I'm looking forward to smoking more of these, kind of getting a feel for how they change with a little bit more time on them and things like that. But I have no problem recommending this to somebody that I know that can handle that strength level and won't get turned off by how it starts. And I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just it's just abrupt. So you have to be kind of ready for that. So getting into the scores, I gave it a 7.02. You gave it a 6.82. How do you think that matched up with your smoking experience?
Matched up well. I mean, basically, the story of this is the entire flavor profile from first, second, last, third. I rate it to be good. Some minor drawbacks to the burn performance, especially, but it's a good cigar. I mean, it's something that I definitely would smoke again. So.
Yeah, we scored the cigar pretty much the same. The only real difference in the categories that count towards the points is our difference in the burn. Otherwise, we scored it identically. So there's not a huge difference in our scoring. It's really just a construction thing. So, but yeah, I mean, it's this is a group of guys that they are cigar enthusiasts that wanted to create a brand, and they've come out with consistently good cigars every time. So like this isn't like there's no cigars that are like duds in this batch. They've all got their own kind of unique identity, and they all produce at a pretty good level. So I think it's pretty good. Like I said, I want to smoke more and kind of see how they round out through the year. And like I said at the beginning, I'm anticipating more sizes as in following years. So typically a Lancero comes after a year or two later. So we'll see what that looks like. Any other final thoughts for you on this one?
I think it's, reading some of these reviews that are starting to come out for this cigar, inevitably, undoubtedly, almost the talk about the pepper blast in the beginning is most people talk about that, right?
Yep.
But I gotta, there should be a clear distinction between getting something like that and then past that, let's say inch and a half, whatever mark, not being able to taste anything out of the cigar.
Right.
This is not that. I mean, I was able to taste fine within all the samples that I smoked. Never would I feel like I got so much pepper within that inch. That's all. My palate is burnt out and I can't taste anything. I never felt like that. So I don't know. I mean, it's almost like smoking one of those like Don Pepin cigars from back in the day. They're kind of known for that initial pepper blast.
Yeah.
It's kind of felt like that, like new Pepin back in the day.
Right.
So.
Yeah. All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. We'll also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.